Hey, thanks for tuning in. Now, this is mostly for people that are business owners and they're thinking about using Yelp. So, this can apply if you're not in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area. Um, I used Yelp to kind of get started, and I used them as my second platform of choice for advertising. And I quickly canceled that sponsored advertising because, as you can look here, here's my page. As we go down to reviews, and usually the reviews should be right up here. And that's funny because I've had reviews. I've had reviews from customers. Um, Portfolio from the business are they're paid for and provided by the business. That's interesting. I better double check that. I don't think I'm paying for that, but I guess I am. And those are all images that I didn't even select, so I don't know exactly about that. But anyways, here we go. So here are some actual things that my company has done, right? This is a roofing project where they did a full roof. Insurance didn't pay for the replacement, so they had to pay out of pocket. Here's another one. Again, insurance, I think insurance on this one paid like, I don't know, 50 shingles to replace 50 shingles, and wouldn't you know, it's just below the deductible. So both of these were cash jobs essentially, and that's me volunteering at the shelter, which is something that's important to my company's mission to make sure that we give back to the community. But anyways, we should be seeing some of the reviews, and we're not. You know, they have the address right. That's great. They got all this, yada, 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 yada. Look at that. You could be the first review for Colgan Family Roofing. Exactly wrong. Because here, look, 3 reviews that are not currently recommended. And what does this do? Oh, it just takes me to this. It doesn't even say. Okay. Oh, interesting. Well, that is so weird that they are both from San Francisco. Um, that is so weird. Maybe that's the reason why they're not reviewed, but that's a 5-star review right there. And you can read it if you want. But the point is, and then Rhonda, also 5-star review. And they're not being shown. Now, that one kind of makes sense, right? Because that's actually my mom. And, you know, mothers love their children, but it also says something that she was willing to put her name out there and create that for me. And I do appreciate that. So thank you, Mom. But these two, they literally had roofs replaced by me. Were satisfied customers. I did not solicit their information to be put on Yelp. And they created this. And they did this themselves. So it's one of those weird aspects of it where I just couldn't keep paying Yelp when they literally were taking away my reviews. You know, because in the sponsored ads that I was using, there's an aspect of it where the stars of the reviews is right below the name. And so if you look at mine, if I pull up my business profile, it will show my profile and it will show 0 stars. And that's just really sad for a business, right? Like, who wants to be that guy that has 0 stars? Like, that's an unknown. And when there's 100 other companies to choose from that aren't unknown, why would you choose the one that is? So you got to get creative and definitely keep reaching out to people and all that stuff, which is what I'm doing. I'm not gonna let it. Excuse me. I'm not gonna let it affect me that much. But if you can see this, yeah, right. So that is how it would show up in an advertisement, right? Which nice name and maybe gives people the warm fuzzies, but it's got 0 stars. So that is the reason why I stopped my main advertising with Yelp, just simply because they weren't helping me out. And they literally were taking the wind out of my sales once I got some momentum, right? Like, I'm ready to keep paying for this service because now that I have some reviews, I look even better. I look more reputable because now I have a reputation, right? It's not a scam. It's literally, hey, I put on a $10,000 roof for these people. Hey, I put on a $15,000 roof for these people. Hey, I put on a $12,000 roof for these people. And they're satisfied with the work. So that means that those reviews should be there to help the consumer, to help the customer or the potential customer. But in any case, that is just something that I experienced, and you may run into that as well if you're trying to get started on Yelp. Um, not much I can do about it except not pay them money. And I am still paying them money because they have this kind of cool thing where you can actually see a lead. Somebody posts a question in, Yelp, and they just say, "Hey, I need to find somebody." And what that means is like here. If you look at this one just above my head, so get pricing and availability. And all these customers do is fill this information out right here. And you press that button, and then you as the consumer, you're submitting it through Yelp. Then Yelp sends it to basically the 200 businesses that are in the area for the roofing. And then you can pay to have access to their information. And it's usually just on the Yelp platform, right? So like last night, paid $3 to get access to somebody's information to send them a text message saying, "Hey, I'm interested. I believe my company can serve you. Reach back out if you would like further information." And that person did. But for me, like it's 1 in 5 that's going to reach back out. So, and that was actually the cheapest ad that or the cheapest broker, I guess, fee or finder fee is probably the best way to describe it, that I found is $3. The most expensive was $50, and that one didn't turn into a job because he wanted something that was cheaper than even what I put on, and I don't put on type of materials that's going to blow off in 60-mile-an-hour winds. And there might have been other factors as well. Maybe somebody else sweetened the pot with some other deal, or who knows exactly. But the point is, I still use Yelp for this service because it does give me direct access to somebody that's interested, which definitely helps more than like a generic Google where you might see an advertisement at the beginning of YouTube, but that's not what you're there for. You're not researching roofers. You're wanting to watch a show, or maybe you looked at roofers 3 weeks ago, and now you're getting all these advertisements. Like my girlfriend and I were discussing prenups. And so I did a little bit of research on Google, and of course, like my IP address is not hidden, so somebody's collecting that data, and then they're marketing it to somebody else saying, "Hey, this is your target audience for a prenup." So now for the last week, even though I searched a week and a half ago, the last week I've been getting this "Hello Prenup" advertisement. It's like I'm not even looking for that at the moment. So those types of ads are not very useful for me, but these types of finder fees are still useful. But the reason I'm not going to be using Yelp for the recommended is because I have 0 stars, and the stars that have been created by customers that gave me 5-star ratings, they haven't been reviewed, or they haven't been approved, so they're not shown. And that is the reason why I highly I don't know if discourage is the right word. Like, I think it's worthwhile for a business to try different things. And maybe you'll luck out and you'll have somebody that has a very long-standing reputation with Yelp be like one of your first customers. So that review won't get removed, and it won't put their IP address in San Francisco, which is something that I have no clue about, like why that would happen. So any case, I hope you've enjoyed this video as a business owner, or just kind of seen the inside of what a business owner is looking at, especially a new business owner. For some of these business owners that have been going 20, 30 years, they already have the reviews, right? They might be wanting to get their reviews back up to the 5-star because over time, if you interact with 1,000 customers, you might get a 4-star or 1-star. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. God bless. Namaste. And if you want a free roof inspection, call or text me.